Rachelsey at the movies!
Yay!
Yes.
Hey guys, so we went and we saw recently, at some point in time, whatever, we saw Bad Times at the El Royale.
We did.
Yeah.
I was really excited about this movie because it looked different. It looked like a good movie. You know, like when you see like, oh, this looks like a good movie.
But like different, like in that
it wasn't Mission Impossible 15.
Right.
It wasn't related to the Harry Potter stories or whatever. Like it was like a movie.
I was hesitant though because I wasn't sure if it was going to have too much content in it that was too graphic for Rachel.
Yeah. You got to take care of Rachel.
Yeah. So, but it didn't. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was an excellent movie, and I thought it was thought-provoking. Like, I thought about it after the fact, and I wanted to, like, spend time thinking about it.
Yeah, I've given it, like, quite a bit of thought, and partially because we waited so long to do the review.
Yeah.
But also just because it was a really good movie. I agree. Like, I had a good time. I don't remember the runtime of the movie, but I remember before going to see it, I was like, oh, this movie's going to be long. But it didn't seem long at all.
It was over like 2 hours.
It was closer to like 2.5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but I remember somewhere near the end of the movie, I was like, gosh, or maybe when it was over, I was like, that did not seem like that movie was that long. It just seemed like a movie.
I was just completely captivated with the whole movie that I didn't know how much time had passed. The production value was great. The acting was great. The script was great. Like, everything was really good.
Everything was great.
And what I thought was, like, whoever made this movie, they had something that they wanted to communicate and really say and put out into the world that had deep meaning.
And it wasn't,
it wasn't like, I just want to entertain people, which is all fine and good. I go to the movies to be entertained.
I mean, it was like a truthful agenda. It wasn't like a political agenda.
Right. It wasn't this, like, kind of superficial...
opinion agenda. It was
like I want to communicate this to the world because I think I'm right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't about that. It had so much more depth to it. Yeah.
Real. It was real. Go, wait, or skip.
Well, so I'm gonna say go because I think it's such a good movie. We are behind in seeing this movie, so you might just go.
We're not behind in seeing it. You are.
Your favorite platform, but see this movie. That's what I want to communicate.
Yeah, I'm going to say definitely go. Go see this movie. Go buy tickets and support these kind of films because I think these are the kind of films that deserve to be made. And I would like to see more of these kind of films. And I'd like to say these one more time.
Yeah, so spoilers. Spoilers section.
Spoilers.
Yeah, so anyway.
Spoilers!
With this movie, I thought when I left the movie, I remember thinking, I just want to think about this movie more. This movie had really strong themes of mercy and forgiveness. And it was just so fascinating. So every character in the movie, none of them were perfect. Nobody was a hero. And they made mistakes, but in different ways. Some people made huge mistakes, right? Like they did something that ended somebody's life. Like it was such a big thing. Well, they had prejudices, right? They made assumptions
which the movie invited you to do. It was made in a way.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, what really the movie was about, was how we make up stories. And you and I talk about this a lot in our lives. But how, and there's ties to your point of mercy and judgment. We make up stories based on the things we see. And so in this movie, we were shown this thing. And we were invited to make up stories about this thing
the whole time because it's a mystery. You don't know what's happening. So,
and you would be like, well, the thing you see, you're like, oh, well, I know what this is.
Yeah.
And because it just seemed like you would. And so you're invited to be judgmental and to make up stories rather than to be honest and be like, well, I can see something, still not know what it is.
And so you as a viewer are doing that while the characters in the movie are doing the same thing. And to me, the biggest example was between two characters. It was the vacuum salesman and the you want to call her like a lounge singer, that they both had, like, viewer made assumptions, they made assumptions about each other. The vacuum salesman came across as slightly prejudiced. Slimy, like you didn't really, like, it seemed
Scumbag.
like he's a bad guy in this movie. But then he ended up like he wasn't the bad guy. He was the guy who, he was working for the FBI, wasn't corrupt or anything, and then he actually disobeyed direct orders in order to save somebody, which he had made up a story about, that person needed his saving, and it turns out that they didn't need his saving. Over
and over. And every single character was like this.
Yeah.
You would make up stories. You were invited to make up stories about the character. And I know I use this example a lot, but I think it's really an important point. And this movie was exactly what we talk about. Like, you could hide a camera in Rachel's room and watch Rachel 24/7. You could. And you can make up stories based on what you saw Rachel do. But you really don't know, because all you have is what you see. Mm-hmm. And you don't, you obviously haven't followed Rachel since birth. You don't know what Rachel's thinking about. You don't know Rachel's past experiences. And this movie was like that, because in the hotel they had all those cameras and the different rooms, and like the people would watch people.
So you were getting like just a window in on like a scene. And the whole movie was set up like that, where in the beginning it even kind of felt like a play, because you had all these scene sets with rooms and the camera just sitting there still. And so you could only see so much, right? So if somebody was up against the wall, you couldn't see him over here. You just got this one view, this one angle into somebody's life. And that's exactly what we have into the lives of everybody we know. We only have a certain viewpoint where we can see things, and so we make assumptions and we make mistakes with those assumptions. Yeah. And it's what the whole movie was about. And it was really tack onto the mercy and forgiveness part. And that comes in because we make these assumptions. Well, because mercy is the opposite of judgment.
You said mercy and forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right. I think so I like to call it love rather than mercy. I think they're both very similar.
Person, the hotel clerk, whatever you want to call him, manager, you kind of didn't know what to think about him,
Yeah.
And like it seemed like, dude, like you can't be doing what you're doing even if somebody's telling you to do that. So then it's like, but by the end of the movie you end up being really merciful, because you get a like broader view into his life.
Right after you're like, oh, this guy's a serial killer.
Yeah.
And right after, like, this is one of the final things that the director pulls off. And like, because you don't see it coming, it's my point. It's like you watch this movie and you're like, oh, this guy's whatever. And you know that he's done this already to you a bunch of times, but it still like works, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is a lot better than whatever the Rotten Tomatoes score is for it. I know that it's fresh.
Yeah, it's 70, I think in 73 or something.
Yeah, something like, I'm like, seriously, critics? I feel like the critics are stupid.
Okay.
Except for Rachelsey at the movies, y'all. Bam! Like, comment, and subscribe.
All right. We'll make something.
You got more to say?
No.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, because we get to a point where we're just like rambling because...
Then we argue about word meanings.